Safety and environmental professionals. Last week I talked about the importance of trying to avoid a disagreement. If you're trying to influence someone, trying to get them to agree with what you say, support your initiative, something like that, you may end up in a bit of a debate, and it's really important to avoid disagreement, because every time you disagree directly and overtly, you kind of lose them in some way. So I recommended ways in which you could agree where possible. Even just a partial agreement, even just an agreement that their view is a valid way of looking at the world. I didn't give you the full story though, because how you follow this up is really important. There's a word that you need to eliminate from your vocabulary, 99% of the time at least, and that word is but. Eliminate the word but. We're going to replace the word but with another word. And so how does this work? Well, let's say an example from today. I'm delivering training today, and someone said to me that their manager doesn't want to grit the car park in winter because they think it's going to increase the risks of some kind of personal injury claim. If I grit the car park and someone slips, then I'm the one responsible. It's one of those, isn't it? It's completely wrong. But what do we do? Well, we're not going to disagree with that directly, because that would take us into an argument. So what we're going to start with is we're going to start by agreeing. And we say, yes, lots of people think that. We're not agreeing with what they've said, we're just agreeing that it's a valid way of seeing things. We're agreeing that it's understandable that they might think this. Yes, lots of people think that. I've read that in the newspapers. You know, people who grit outside their house, and if someone slips, you know, they're afraid of people claiming against them. Now at this point, we're tempted to use the word but it's wrong. The problem with the word but is that it directly disagrees. It actually distracts all of the attention from the positive stuff you've just said, and it focuses all of the attention on the thing you're about to say, the negative that you're about to say. So think of times when people have said to you, yeah, I agree, but, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but, yeah, I know what you mean, but. Does it feel like you're being agreed with? Does it feel like you're being listened to? No, it doesn't at all. That's what the word but does. People might agree with you, but as soon as they say the word but, it feels like they're not. So it increases a feeling of conflict in your conversation, which you don't want. So here's the thing you need to do. Replace the word but with and. I agree with you, and. I hear what you're saying, and notice how it just changes. It changes how the conversation feels. It removes that perception of conflict, of disagreement. Makes the conversation go a bit smoother. So, I don't want to grit the car park. Yes, lots of people think that. I've read that in the newspapers. People are afraid of being sued if they grit car parks outside their houses. And what I learnt recently was that in fact this is just a myth. It's not actually true. What I learnt is that in fact the law gives you quite a lot of defence against people who might be claiming against you because they slipped in your car park. But yeah, so use the word and. I agree with you, and I don't think that's possible. I hear what you're saying, and I'm not entirely sure we've got the time or the money to do that. So follow up with the word and instead of but, and what you'll find is that your conversations go so much more smoothly and are much less likely to degenerate into arguments, which, let's face it, arguments do absolutely nothing to drive performance forward, usually, not unless you've got an absolutely fantastic relationship with the person where a bit of conflict is sometimes very useful. But most of the time, you know, people arguing, managers arguing, you know, it doesn't lead to anything particularly constructive. So give that a go. Remember to practice it as well. Make this a habit, and instead of but. Anyway, enjoy your day. Catch you later.